Live! Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing great. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Monday. First Monday in March. Man, this year is going so fast. Before you know it's going to be 2025. Sounds so futuristic. I remember when I was a kid, 2000 seemed like a long time in the future. Now it's a long, long time in the past. Hope y'all are doing well. Welcome to Cliff Notes episode 168, if I'm keeping track. Maybe right, maybe not. I think it's 168. Welcome, though. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I'll start off with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, love reality TV fans. Especially love you guys that hang out with me every Monday night, either live or watching on replay, either one. Oh my gosh, it's reality TV season. We got a lot going on. We've got Survivor premiered last week. Big Brother Canada premieres tomorrow night. The Traitors US season 2. I guess it all wraps up. This coming up Thursday, so it's almost done. We got Deal or No Deal. Just a lot of stuff going on. So figure we'll talk about a lot of it tonight, and then whatever else y'all want to talk to. So glad to have you on board. Before going further, if you haven't already done so, especially as we're getting into the reality TV season, please consider subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification button so that you know whenever I drop an episode, because you never know. And you maybe can hit one of those thumbs up as well. I feel like I need to go big time. I need to have down here one of those little banners that pops up, says hit here and get notified or whatever. Maybe I'll figure that out here before too long. But yeah, if you want to subscribe, certainly appreciate that, because I love having y'all on board. All right, before we go any further than that, let me check who all we've got here for this incredible evening. It's hot down. Well, it was hot. Now it's gotten cold again down here. Doesn't know which way the weather's going to go just yet in Texas. I guess that's our 2 weeks of spring before we get into the summertime. Brian Hoster, it's Monday and time for Cliff Notes. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Hey, Brian, how are you doing? Colleen as well. Hi, Colleen. How are you? Marilyn Sutherland, Mark Taylor, Michelle Moore, Patricia Miller, Karen Loveland, Jake the Horror Movie Geek, Nunez 1919. Let's see. Wyatt Garrett White, how are you? Kendra, Deb McDougal, Audrey Cobb, JP. Hey, JP, how are you doing, sir? Kath Ant, and I think that's about it. I don't see Cindy out here. I was going to thank her so much for being on the show last week. Hopefully get her here in just a little bit. Cindy was on last week, as y'all saw, a little bit of a special guest. I knew she had some stories, and had a blast talking to her. We're going to do that some more going forward. Now, the 25th, we've got a special guest. I kind of teased it last week. I'm going to do it again today or tonight. We've got a special guest from the past season, from the very most recent season of Big Brother US. Special guest going on. I'll get you more information, a little more teasers a little bit later. But we got a special guest coming on on the 25th. Then between then and when Big Brother US starts, we're going to get a few more guests on. I'm trying to work that out. So yeah, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm glad to have y'all on board with me. All right. Let's say, yeah, and Ma, Colleen says Ma in the house. Yeah, I didn't see Ma either. Ma gets a pat. I figure Ma may be busy with school here and there, all that, but we'll keep an eye out. All right, let's see what we've got. Let's see. Kath Ant is saying, hi, this is Nick's mom. Well, howdy, Kath Ant. Nick's mom is in Nick from Big Brother 21, Nicole from Big Brother 21, or another way. Give me some details. But howdy to Nick's aunt. I'm glad to have you on board. Welcome. We have fun out here. It's kind of nice little fun hangout. All right. Did I say aunt? It's because I saw Kath Ant on there. Nick's mom. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant the whole time. Give me the details. What did they say? Give me the tea. If I'd said give me the tea while I was trying out for Big Brother, I don't know if they would have booted me out the door for being such a goofball, or they would just fallen all over themselves that someone of my age was saying spill the tea or give me the tea. It's spill the tea, right? I mean, it could be give me tea. I did use the term FOMO when talking about why I loved watching the live feeds, and they just fell all over themselves laughing about that as well. I think maybe they laughed a little bit when I talked about emojis as well, instead of emojis. They said, you mean emojis? Yeah, I just know how to spell it. I don't know how to pronounce it. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Karen Loveland saying, What is your background tonight? Well, we don't have a whole lot of information yet on Big Brother Canada, even though it premieres tomorrow night. We know who 12 of the house guests are. We've got two top secret guest. I heard an A-list guest. Rissa Cox was on a show today, and she said no one's going to be upset when these two walk through the door. Returning players. We don't know who it is, but we at least know who the 12 newbie players are that are in the house. And we got a little bit of a preview. So there you go. This is the main living room area for Big Brother Canada. Their set is huge compared to the Big Brother US house, where we're kind of, I mean, our living room was fine. But we're a little bit more squeezed in. This looks like a freaking bus terminal or something. I mean, it's huge. But yeah, so I figured I'd do that as a little bit of a background. And then on my little teaser that I put out on Instagram, I've got a background of me sitting in one of the two eviction chairs. Never wanted to sit in those eviction chairs, but for purposes of the background, I've got it on that as well. You know, I was always nervous. I refused to sit in the two eviction chairs in the Big Brother house during my season. I just figured I'm not huge into superstition and all that, but why take chances? So the only time I ever sat in those two chairs was when I had to, because I was on the block. Now, unfortunately, I was on the block 6 different times, so that seat probably had a permanent imprint of my rear end on the bottom of that chair, on the seat of that chair. But I only sat there when I had to, because the rest of the time, that's the last place that you wanted to be sitting. But I put myself in the Big Brother Canada chair and pretended like I was in the Big Brother house. I'm really excited to see what the house looks like. Arissa had mentioned that the theme this season is Hollywood North. So she said, picture Hollywood, but with the Rockies instead of the whatever mountains they are there in Los Angeles. I'm sure it's going to be an incredibly fancy backdrop. The house guests in Big Brother Canada only get $100,000, and I think it's because they spend all their budget making that house just look incredible and beautiful, and somewhere that you would want to hang out for 3.5 months or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward. It's going to be so much fun. I really am hoping it's going to be a good season. They did confirm, or we have heard here in the last few days, they're not going to be live feeds. They're moving into the house tomorrow night. I don't know if we immediately find out who the 2 extra house guests are, the superstar house guests, so to speak, or if it's a little bit later. I'm assuming it'd be something like when Sari showed up in the house for Big Brother last season, but we don't know. But they're moving into the house tomorrow night. No live feeds, which drives me bonkers. You learn so much more about these house guests when you see just the little discussions that may not even have anything to do with strategy, may not have anything to do other than just seeing who gets along with other people. I know when I was in the house, I felt like every conversation was important, because if you said one thing wrong, it could come back and bite you. But 90% of our conversations were just trivial, just trying to fill in time, it seems like, and just getting to know each other. And yet those conversations, even though they really didn't have to do with strategy in the house, I feel like anyone watching the live feeds could start getting a better feel about who got along with each other, who meshed with each other, who was respectful of each other, who was ignoring other people. You can read a lot just by the way people behave around each other when they're in that house, when they're not thinking about game, when they're just hanging around because you're stuck in a house with someone. And we miss all of that on Big Brother Canada. So that's the one thing I'm really not looking forward to this season, but hey, I certainly be watching anyway. Now I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit easier to watch this season. I don't know why Global TV up in Canada so much doesn't want us to watch, it seems like, because I've never figured out a way legal to watch Big Brother Canada. So I always have to watch the recaps on YouTube and find some channels here or there, and look around. You can usually find a channel that's on. But yeah, I wish they just had it on Paramount Plus, where we could pay a little extra per month and watch it, and guarantee that we could watch every episode. But what are you going to do? I'll find it out there one way or the other. Karen Hummer is saying, where's BB Canada streaming from? Paramount Plus. No, unfortunately not. That's, if they were, I'd pay the money. I in a heartbeat, I'd pay the money. I wish they had just don't even call it Paramount Plus, a Big Brother channel. The whole channel would be nothing but Big Brother from all the countries around the world. Have captions below, so it can be captioned into whatever language is your language that you want to hear it in, or read it in. You can get Big Brother Canada, Big Brother Brazil is going on right now. We'll have the US version before long. Germany, the UK put all the Big Brothers from around the world together into a single channel. I'd pay quite a bit for that streaming service to watch that. And I don't know. I guess I feel the way if you could watch Big Brother from a lot of different countries, it would help a lot just in terms of getting to know other countries and the cultures of other countries and the people and everything else. Now, I don't know that's fair that you should judge an entire country based on 16 knuckleheads inside a Big Brother house. That seems a little crazy, but I do feel like it's fun. I don't. I guess as much as I've traveled around the world, I always enjoyed meeting people from other places. And if I could just do it by watching Big Brother 24 hours a day, it'd be fantastic. So there's my petition: Big Brother channel to be carried around the world. More people than FIFA World Cup watching that channel because of all the Big Brother. A man can dream, right? All right, let's see. Mark Taylor saying, excuse me, love Survivor. Who are your early picks to win it all? All right, first of all, there are going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen Survivor yet, you've had not quite a week, but you've had 5 days. So I'll assume that most of y'all have seen it. If not, plug your ears or just be aware there'll be a little bit of a spoiler. I mentioned last week when I was talking to Cindy, she was talking about going out to Vegas. I said, oh, well, there's a guy who's a slot machine salesman that lives out in Vegas who's on the show. Well, there used to be Mr. Jelinski, quite the character, but not long for the cast of Survivor. For those of you who aren't aware, he didn't really seem like he had a lot of stick-to-itiveness. They had a sweat task where they had to carry water back and forth on the beach, and he basically just decided that it's too much work. We're never going to finish it up, so why bother? You can't do that. I don't. You can never do that. While I was at the Big Brothers, I knew for 100% fact there wasn't a chance in anything that I was going to win slip and slide. But I gave it everything I had because it's not always about winning or losing. Sometimes it's just about showing people that you are willing to give 100% in order to make something. It's like playing on a football team. You may be down 40-0 that last quarter, but you still got coaches watching to see if you're going to give it your 100% to the very end of the game. It's a lot about what drives you from an inner discipline and all of that. And he just didn't quite seem to have it. And so he paid the price. He paid the price either because he quit or because he spent too much time talking about himself in the third person, which if I'm on the island, I may boot you just because of that. But I will say this. It seems like he's handled it well. I saw a few posts from him later, him and Brandon from season before, laughing about, I think one or the other said, hey, Brandon, and you and me, Jelinski, let's go on an amazing race together, which would be kind of fun. So yeah, we've already lost our first person from Survivor. Who are my favorites on there? It's too early from a strategy standpoint to tell, but from just people who I think are going to be entertaining or people that I think I may be cheering on just because they seem like nice people. There's a guy named Tevin, black guy. He had kind of greenish hair and everything. An actor, I think. He seems very involved in the game, and he also seems like he's paying attention. Someone referred to him as a Pied Piper, I think. I think he's going to be a dominant player in this game. You may have to be careful because you start off too strong, and sometimes that you pay the price on that as well. But I think he's going to be fun to watch. And the other person I'd noticed was Banhu. I think that's his name. I typed it all in my notes, and then spell check came along and changed everything up. But I think it was Banhu from India, and he reminds me of a few other players we've had in seasons past that you just see the joy. Just the fact that he's out there playing the game, win or lose, he's going to have fun playing the game. And I always support those kind of players. So I certainly am starting to have a couple of favorites. There's another guy, I think he went to Morehouse College. He's a coach, and I just can't remember his name. I think he may be in for the long haul. I think he's going to be one of those, maybe a little more silent than some of the two I just mentioned. But I think he may do pretty well as well. I'm excited. We're early in the season. Again, I haven't really seen enough strategy to know for certain, but they've got a good mix of players in Survivor. As much as I love Big Brother, I will say this. I think Survivor does one of the most incredible jobs of bringing in a wide range of players, all different backgrounds and ages and demographics and everything. And I love seeing it. So yeah, I'm excited about Survivor. Episode 2 is on Wednesday. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Barbara Samar saying, I like the guy from India. I think his name is Banhu. And if I'm pronouncing it horribly, apologies in advance. But yeah, I like him too. I think he just seems fun. He seems like a fun guy. All right. Karen Loveland is saying, or I'll say Michelle Moore saying, anyone watching Deal or No Deal, and Karen Loveland saying wasn't impressed with it. All right. Y'all remember the old Deal or No Deal, right? Where you just went up statically, you're in a soundstage, you randomly pick one suitcase, and it either has $1 million or a penny or somewhere in between. And it's all about what kind of risk you're willing to take, or do you walk away with something in between money that's offered. They turned that into a new show that involves being on an island. And instead of just grabbing a suitcase, you have to, it looks like, fight for it a little bit. You can take other people's suitcases. There's a little bit more strategy involved. And I feel like I saw the preview. Yeah, it seems like it was a year ago, but I think it was about a month ago I saw the preview. And then they had the first episode last week, and I didn't go that much further into it. I feel like it was the preview with an extra 5 minutes or so. Boston Rob is on it. And I think this may be on Fox, NBC. I don't know. It's not on CBS, but I'll give it time. I wasn't impressed yet. I have a feeling there's going to be a little more strategy involved in it. I will say this, for those of you who haven't seen it, just real quick, and I know a lot of you have, so we won't spend much on it. But Boston Rob was taking a Jeep in with a guy who, very young, very not Boston Rob, someone who doesn't really seem like their element is being out on an island fighting through mud to fight for briefcases and things like that. I think he maybe said he was accounting. He's like 21 or something. Brand new reality thing. Here he is sitting next to Boston Rob, and the two of them reach some kind of an agreement to work together as an alliance. We'll see if it works or not, but two very different people. And that's one of the fun things about reality TV. You end up with different people working together sometimes. Who knows? He may be like Ian Terry. He may boot Boston Rob somewhere down the road. We'll see. Matt's saying it's on NBC. Okay, I knew it was not CBS because I kind of wondered what CBS thought about one of their big stars like Boston Rob suddenly going over to another network. But I guess it's been long enough that he was on the Survivor shows. Even that last one that he and Sandra came out and they were the mentors or whatever. I guess it's still been long enough that he's kind of a free agent at this point in time. So, yeah, I'll give it another chance. But I agree with you. The first episode, they didn't show us enough. I was ready for a little bit more. All right, let's see. What's that? Brian Huss there saying, what was the biggest lesson you learned from being on Big Brother? Oh, gosh, so many lessons. Keep your mouth shut. I learned what my wife has reminded me on many occasions. You got a big mouth. Your voice isn't always an indoor voice. And which makes it great, I suppose, for doing YouTube shows and maybe okay for being on a show like Big Brother or something. Certainly works well when I'm working on an oil rig and someone has to hear what I'm saying from a long way away with a lot of machinery going on. But when you're talking about secrets inside a quiet house early in the morning, maybe not so good. So I'll throw that out there. But on a more serious tone, I think there's two things that I really learned on Big Brother. One of them I already learned as I get a little older, it hits me more and more that life is full of a whole lot of ups and a whole lot of downs. It's all a big old roller coaster. As long as you got your life, your family, your health, everything else you can deal with, right? I mean, there's things that when it happens, you're like, oh golly, I just blew the transmission of my car. That is not what I wanted. What in the world am I? Things like that I've spent a lot of time over the past year saying, you know what? Is it really going to be something I worry that much about 10 years from now? No. 90% of the things that happen, 99% of the things that happen, you'll be fine. Yeah, it may be a minor headache here and there, but eventually you'll move on. 50 years from now, when you're retired and doing whatever, it's not going to be a big deal. As long as you can keep the family, the health, the life, etc. Those are the important things that you have to worry about. The other stuff, don't sweat it. And I tried to do that in the Big Brother house. It really forced me to do that. Yeah, I'm on the block. Yeah, I may have just cost myself $500,000. Not great, but it's not the end of the world. I'm still coming back to my family and all that. So I think that's important, not just in Big Brother, but in life itself, to just realize most things aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. The other thing I learned that's very much strategic from Big Brother that I think anyone has to know and do when they go into the house. You can have all the strategies in the world. You can have all the game plans in place, know exactly what you want to do, but you got to be flexible. Things are going to change. Sometimes it's because of something you did. Sometimes it's because something someone else did. Sometimes it's just because a twist that got thrown in that you didn't count on whatsoever. You can have the best plan in the world, but you've got to be willing to pivot on a dime and change it all up and always have that flexibility. And as I say that, I think that probably applies to life as well. You may be 20 years old, have your life planned out till you're 70, 80 years old. Sometimes things happen and you got to pivot a little bit. Embrace the journey. Don't worry so much about the end zone, the final target. Just embrace that journey. Sounding very philosophical right tonight. I don't mean to, but those are two. You got to be flexible and don't sweat the small stuff. I'll just leave it at that. All right. What else do we have on here? Mark is saying, who will take the money in Traitors? And Brian is saying the faithful. All right. Now, I've spent the last few weeks, and I'm not going to do spoilers on Traitors and all that. I'm switching up a little bit. I think I did last week. I'm doing it again tonight because we're right there at the end. We're back to getting only one episode a week, so it's not as though anyone is binging really at this point in time. Last week in the Traitors was, I didn't really like the episode before because I didn't think enough happened. Last week, a whole lot happened, right? We lost two people. We lost Peter. Excuse me. I was going to say, spoiler. We lost Peter, a faithful, and he told everyone. He said, I am a faithful. And everyone, they should have known. A lot of the Bravo housewives kind of stuck together, it seems like. And they sent Peter out. As soon as he was gone, they realized that he had been telling the truth when his main thing was that Phaedra's a traitor, even though she's a housewife, even though she's aligned with all you Bravo folks, she's still a traitor. They didn't believe him, or they just wanted to work with her so badly. Peter was gone. I thought he was one of the best faithful players that we've seen in either of the seasons. He actually, because I feel like a lot of people playing this game, they use really weak reasons to try to banish someone. They don't really use logic and strategy as much as just gut feelings about, oh, well, that person looks kind of shady or whatever. Peter actually had some strategies of trying to trap people using some immunity shields and things like that, and it worked. He basically figured out who the traitors were through some of the actions he took and some of the discussions he had, instead of just guessing based on who didn't look him in the eye and who did and things like that. So I thought Peter was a huge loss for the faithfuls. We lost John, the former Speaker of the House parliamentarian. I'm not sure quite what he is for the UK Parliament. Kind of an interesting guy. Very interesting. I'd like to hear his backstory, but it's weird that he was the one person who wasn't a US celebrity kind of person. He was just kind of the UK representative there, playing his own game. I tell you, it'd be fun to grab him in a pub sometime and just hear some stories, but we lost him. And we lost Phaedra, the traitor, the final original traitor. We'd already lost everyone else. She was gone. Writing was on the wall. I don't know that she had any real good defense once Peter was gone. I just don't think there was anything that she could do at all. And she kind of gave up as a result of it. She didn't go out swinging, so to speak, which I get it. I feel like she tried to stay so far under the radar throughout the season, and it worked well as long as there were other targets that were traitors that were bigger personalities. Maybe they weren't bigger personalities, but bigger targets like a Dan. While that was going on, I think Phaedra was perfectly safe, laying low, playing it safe, utilizing her alliance of a lot of the Bravo TV channel folks, and just playing soft and low. But once they were gone and the numbers dwindled, I felt like maybe she wasn't quite as proactive as she needed to be to whisper and get some other targets, other people looking other directions. She kind of set back a little too long, I think, for what she needs to do. But she played a great game. The only traitor that we've got now that's left is Kate Chastain from from Below Deck, which we watch. I've seen her many seasons of Below Deck itself. I gotta say, I kind of hope this season that the faithfuls win it and get to split the money. Last season that wasn't the case. Last season a traitor won it, which was fine. It was a great season, but the fact that Kate only got brought in halfway through the season, or half the season was already gone before she got brought in, just makes me kind of think, yeah, maybe there's other people that deserve it a little bit more. Plus, last season, Kate, when things weren't going her way, she kind of just gave up on some of the challenges and just wasn't really a good sport about it. So, for all those reasons, I'm sure she's a nice person. I've never met her in person, but for all those reasons, I'm going to be cheering for the faithfuls that maybe they can figure it out and get her out of the house, and the rest of them get to split the money. That's what I'd like to see. I'm not sure if they're going to identify her or not. We'll find out. We'll see. I'm amazed on the Traitors that we still have two big personalities in that house that really haven't gotten any attention so far. CT from the challenge and Sandra Diaz. How in the world the Queen of Survivor has just been able to just melt into the woodwork and not raise any ruffle any feathers from anyone. I think it's just because she's so nice. I've met her a couple times in person. The most incredible person in the world. So incredibly friendly. And I think that it probably conveys itself inside the house, and people just don't want to think that she's a traitor. She's not. But the fact that she has avoided any kind of real threats at all just shows what a beast she is when she's playing these reality games. She's something else. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of cheering for the faithful. We'll find out. All right, Jace World is saying, I agree with you, Cliff Hawk. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Don't always have people agreeing with me, and that's okay. That's what's fun about being out here. I throw out all of these opinions, but they're just opinions. And sometimes when it comes to a show like Big Brother, I feel like sometimes I have some opinions that may carry a little bit more weight just because I know what it was like in that house from a stress, a lack of information, everything else. So there's a few opinions that I especially will really stand by. The rest of them, I'm just another reality TV fan, and always appreciative of y'all's that y'all throw out there as well. And Jace, welcome to the show as well. I love having you on here. All right, Ma saying Sandra is back at her craft. I agree. And first of all, Ma, I'm glad to see you out there. Sandra's just something. Let me tell you a little story real quick, and we'll move on. We were at Hearts of Reality, and we're all in this room signing pictures and autographs and t-shirts. All the people show up and they pay a little extra, buy a ticket, and come in, and we sign all this stuff for them. It's loud, it's hectic, it's frantic. We're there for hours and hours on end. Lots of fun. I walked around, my jaw just dropped. Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. But it is a little bit, makes for a long day. Well, in this room we're doing this at, there's a side room where they had all kinds of sandwiches and fajitas and drinks and chips and everything. So you could take little breaks, go in this room, get a quick snack and things like that, and then go back out and finish signing and all that. I went in there at one point and I saw a lot of people in there. Brendan and Rachel Riley were in there, Vegas now. But Brendan and Rachel were in there. Sandra was in there. Was Sarah Beth in there, I think, from Big Brother. I mean, there are a lot of folks, and we're all talking and all that. And later we all leave to go back to sign more stuff. I go in there a little bit later, and Sandra's in there, and she is picking up all the food. She's cleaning it. She's got a broom. She's doing all stuff. She's trying to clean this room up. So what are you doing, Sandra? I can't stand when people make a mess. I just, I want to fix it up. I want to clean it up so it's all nice when we come back in here. Here's someone who's won $1 million, not once, but twice playing Survivor. And she's still in there just trying to make things as nice as possible for the rest of us when we come in. And she's just a nice person. So, all right, we'll move on to something else. I'll get off my Sandra bandwagon. But yeah, she's been playing Traitors fantastically. Misfire is saying, in the car with her, you're in the car with your sister and a niece. Happy birthday, Kimball's. Oh, your sister. All right, Kimball. Happy birthday to you. I won't sing it because that wouldn't do anyone any good. Good thing they didn't let us sing while we were in the Big Brother house, but happy birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic Monday, March the 4th. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy every single bit of it and have fun. Y'all are in the car, so I hope you're going somewhere to do something incredibly exciting and fun. And just being with families important as well. So happy birthday to you. All right, Mark is saying, are you going to be following Amazing Race that starts Wednesday? Oh my gosh, that starts Wednesday as well. See, there's so much going on. I didn't even keep track of that. Yes, I'll definitely be following it. I'm not going to do, I don't think, between work and everything else, I probably won't do a special dedicated show just covering Amazing Race. It's hard when you just have an hour per week to do as much with it. And I know there's some other folks that cover it as well. So we'll talk about it as part of the show, though. Love me some Amazing Race. As much as I've traveled all over the world, always love it. But I'm glad you told me that because I didn't realize it premiered this week as well. Wednesday, I guess Survivor and then Amazing Race. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'll tell y'all a little something though. Wednesday's gonna be tough for me because we're taking a little trip. We'll talk about that second, but I'm actually gonna miss some of the episodes, so I'm gonna have to record it and watch a little bit later. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. Karen Loveland is saying, and Noah is well, is saying love watching MasterChef Junior. I've watched a few of those. I love MasterChef. I haven't watched MasterChef Junior as much as MasterChef itself because it just makes me feel like I haven't done enough in the world, in life with my skills. You watch those kids that cook, and I am just amazed at what they can do. And it's so funny because you get someone like Gordon Ramsay that can be so mean in Hell's Kitchen and all that. And then they get with the kids for MasterChef, and they're so nice and so positive and complimentary, even when they're saying, get out of here. And all. But these kids are incredible. And again, I haven't seen a lot of episodes, but every time I do, it's like, I could do that. And then I think, yeah, no, there's not a chance in the world that I could do that. Anyway, I love it. You know what I like? Maybe I need to watch more MasterChef Junior, but that's my train. You know, I like watching. There's other Master Chefs that I've seen on some of these weird channels that I can find out on TV every once in a while. Master Chef Mexico is on Televisión or Univision all the time. I watch a lot of that. I've watched Master Chef, I want to say like Belgium, and Master Chef somewhere in South of Argentina, and Master Chef Japan. There's a lot of the franchises, a little bit like other reality TV. Where there's a lot of different Master Chefs in different countries. I love watching those shows just to see what other people in other places cook up that's a little bit different. And so, I don't know. I read about a guy who is trying to eat at a restaurant that represents every single country around the world. And I think he's based up in the Northeast somewhere. But yeah, he's trying to represent 160 something countries, and there may be more than that now. But he's trying to eat at a restaurant somewhere that represents every single one of those countries. He's been doing it for several years. He's not there yet, but apparently he's getting a lot closer. How cool would that be? I would love to do it just to see what everyone takes as their kind of their pride, their cultural pride in terms of dishes and all that. So we'll see. Yeah, love me some Master Chef. All right, Karen Loveland saying, I record all the reality TV shows and fast forward through the commercials. That's how you do it. Oh yeah, I do the same thing. There's very few shows. Sporting events are about the only things I watch live nowadays, where I watch the commercials. The rest of it, it used to be that the commercials were all Miller Lite, tastes great, less filling, and all the different beer commercials, things like that. Now every other commercial is for some kind of pharmaceutical drug that I have no idea what it does. All I know is based on the 5 minutes worth of adverse reactions, including it can cause death. Pretty much every drug is like, I don't probably want to have whatever condition it's treating, but I'm not sure I want to have the drug either. Way too much drug commercials. I'm all for freedom and capitalism and small government and everything else, but if I had one wish, maybe I would pull off a lot of these drug commercials. Because I I don't think anyone needs as many drugs as advertised. I'm getting into my bandwagon, my soapbox, but we do the same thing. We watch them all, then we come back and that hour-long show, suddenly it's only like 35, 40 minutes by the time you get done with it. And nothing means that I get to watch twice as much reality TV as a result. All right. Karen is saying the boy on MasterChef was born with part of his arm missing before his elbow. Doesn't stop anyone this day and age, right? I've seen who was the baseball player? I can't remember now. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember his name. That was born with only one hand and played as a pitcher, and it was incredible. The challenges that people can overcome in this day and age is incredible, and prosthetics as well. Talking about all the stuff we do, I'm reading about artificial intelligence and all these new memory metals and all the innovations that are coming along that we're starting to see happen. And then I think about when I was a kid watching the $6 Million Man, and the idea of a bionic arm or a bionic eye was just the most foreign concept in the world. Jim Abbott. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, Jim Abbott. Not just a pitcher who kind of showed up, and yeah, he was there for a little bit. He was phenomenal. He was an incredible pitcher. I want to say maybe it's for California. I can't remember, but yeah, and it never dawned on him, I guess, that he shouldn't be playing baseball. Just he figured out a way to get around it. But yeah, you think about all these people that have issues with vision or prosthetics and all the things that AI and electronics and everything are going to be able to fix going forward. It's just an exciting time. Glad to be here. Glad to be watching that kind of stuff. Karen saying the blind contestant won on MasterChef. I remember that. Yeah, she was can't remember. She came out a cookbook. She's had a couple of restaurants and everything else. I mean, she's from Houston. Okay, yeah, I knew. I think she may have a restaurant around here at some point, but I remember that. That was. It doesn't seem like it's that long ago. I guess it's probably been. It feels like maybe it was right before my season of Big Brother, so maybe it's been a little bit longer. It's hard to believe. I was on Big Brother coming up 5 years from now. Today is March 4th. I believe that I tried out for Big Brother on February 22nd or 23rd. It was during the barbecue cook-off before the Houston Rodeo. Or is that weekend that was happening, which is why I was all, especially ready I had full cowboy everything. I was ready to go for the barbecue cook-off and the horseback, rodeo and all that stuff. And then went over and tried. So that was February 5 years ago. And then summer coming up was quite the unique summer. Then for those of you I haven't mentioned it, all this reality TV going on, Big Brother USA is still casting. So those of you who have not turned in your videos, do so. What's it hurt? Spend 5 minutes, do a video. You don't even have to prepare. Just talk to the camera, and at least you can tell everyone that you tried out for it. And you never know. You could get a call, and you could have a situation like we've got Big Brother Canada. One of the people already left the show, and we don't know. I don't think they've released it yet. Whether that person was I don't know. I assume they're still testing for COVID. I don't know how that works, but if someone left for family issues or contractual, I don't know what the reason is, but someone's already left and been replaced. During my season, someone left and Christy came on to the show instead. Yeah, try it for it. You're thinking you'll never make it. Perhaps you are. You may be thinking, not a chance I won't make it. And more power to you if you think that way as well. But here's Christy, who was so excited that she thought she'd made it on the show. And then they said, well, yeah, you're actually just an alternate. She didn't give up. She still came out there and she made it on the show. Think how different that show would have been if Christy hadn't been in there, if she hadn't won week 1 HOH, if she hadn't won it, if there'd been someone else. I'm trying to remember who came in second place. Tommy, Sis, Holly. I think it was one of those three who probably would have won if it wasn't for Christy. And then who knows what would have happened. You just never know. All right. JP is saying there was also Monty Stratton, who lost a leg hunting and pitched for the White Sox. Jimmy Stewart played him in a movie. I think I watched that movie. I haven't seen that one. Monty Stratton. All right, I'm going to look that up. Colleen saying that was a great movie. All right, one more to go on the bucket list. Here's the story for me. I played football all through like Pee Wee League, up through junior high school, senior high school, all of that. There was a guy who I played football with in primary school named David, and he went hunting with his brother. Unfortunately, someone leaned a gun up against a fence, and as they were crawling over the fence, the gun fell over, hit the ground, went off, hit David in the leg. He lost his leg directly below the knee. And that was, I think, in fifth or sixth grade when that happened. And so that was the first person I knew who was missing a limb. And I spent a lot of time watching him try to adjust to it and all of that. And he did a great job. When we got to junior high school, he played with an artificial leg. He was an interior lineman. And yeah, he didn't have quite the speed, maybe, or the flexibility because of his leg. But you talking about someone who had a heck of an upper body strength. That guy could just he was an anchor. He would just sit there and push people out of the way. It was incredible how well he could play the game of football, given that he was having a bit of a disadvantage to start with. So David played a lot of football, but I'll always remember one play. We're playing another team, and if I recall, we're probably getting beat a little bit, but we're playing. We've got a play going on. David and I are both on offense. One of the defensive players comes running in, hits David just right. And when he hits him just right in the knee, David's leg goes flying off into the air, about 10, 15 yards away from where David's at. So the kid looks down and sees David's leg over on the other side of the field. And immediately like, oh, I'm sorry. He didn't realize David's such a great player. He didn't even realize that David had a prosthetic leg, and he's just having a meltdown. I don't know. Do you think it's really like, I don't know. He thought he'd really hurt him horribly. And so he's all just, I'm sorry. David stands up, pops up, says, yeah, no worries. He hops over, grabs his leg, puts it right back on. He's ready for the next play. I will never forget that. The coaches on the sideline are just having a meltdown. Everyone on our team is laughing because for David, he's like, yeah, whatever. It didn't phase him at all. The other team just having a meltdown. And then they wouldn't try to block him. They wouldn't try to tackle him, anything after that, because they were so worried about it. He dominated the second half of that game. But yeah, people can persevere through everything. Don't ever underestimate anyone, whether you're talking reality TV or just life in general. All right. Let's see. What else do we have on here? Cindy. Hi, Cindy. I'm glad to see you out here. I mentioned when you first came on, I was missing seeing you here. I appreciate having you out here so much. So welcome aboard. Got a call from your daughter. Well, priorities always are important, and that's certainly a way up their priority over the show. So glad to see you out here as well. Karen Lovelace said probably traumatized him for life. Yeah, maybe, but we thought it was pretty funny. I wonder how he's doing. I think check on that guy. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. What else have we been doing here? We've been talking so much about reality TV. I binge watched a new show this weekend that I need to tell y'all about. Pretty fun. I'm sure y'all have heard of it from Hulu. I think it's Hulu. Only Murders in the Building with Martin Short, Steve Martin. My daughter turned us on to it, said, y'all need to watch this show. It's about all these folks that live. Oh, and Selena Gomez as well. Why did I leave out Selena Gomez? All of them live in a condo, a housing association in New York City. They're trying to solve a murder, which we've seen shows like that before, right? What's great is that this is a little bit of a parody, making a little bit of fun of all the crime scene, true crime drama podcasts that we see. I was a huge fan of Serial when it came out on PBS as a podcast. What was his name? Anad. I can't remember his last name. Charged with murder of his girlfriend, and they went through the whole season talking about did he do it? Didn't he do it? I love that show. But now Only Murders in the Building, really kind of a little bit of a parody of that. And so they're trying to solve a murder that's taking place in the building. Steve Martin, one of my all-time favorite comedians, musicians, actors. The Jerk, just a classic. I don't think they could make The Jerk in this day and age. It may not be considered quite appropriate, but Loved it. I thought it was fantastic. But he did the Jerk, King Tut, the Saturday Night Live. There's just a lot of things that Steve Martin's done. The Spanish Prisoner, I think. His series shows and comedies as well. But there's a lot of surprise cameos. And I'm not going to mention who they are, but it's always fun watching the people that pop up on this thing and making fun of each other. Cindy saying just finished watching that. We're through season 1. We've done part of season 2, so I think there's 3 seasons, baby. I don't even know yet, but we're enjoying it so far because Martin Short and Steve Martin just kind of making fun of each other, making fun of their characters. They just have a fun little banter about them. So yeah, I've absolutely enjoyed it so far. It's been a lot of fun. So if you have Hulu, check out Only Murders in the Building. It's been pretty good. Yeah, Cindy Hire says he plays banjo. One of the very first albums I bought. In fact, very first album I bought was Kiss Destroyer. Second album I ever bought in my entire life was the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. The third album I ever bought was Steve Martin's. I don't even know what the title of it was. It was him with the bunny ears. And just listening to him do comedy routines, just fantastic. And one of the things I think he did on the album was talking about how you can't play a banjo and deliver sad news. Anything you do with a banjo automatically makes it a little bit happier, just as a result of it. I'd love to play the band. I could do a banjo, right? I think so. And none of that deliverance stuff. No, I'm talking about happy music that just makes people jump and bounce in their feet. That'd be a lot of fun to do. I dare say if I had played the banjo and gone into the Big Brother house, they may have booted me in there even a couple of seasons earlier. I don't know. The people in the house may have booted me out a whole lot faster if I even talked about playing banjos in there. But yeah, Steve Martin, he's accomplished in a lot of different things that he does. So yes, that's a lot of fun. Jake the Horror Movie Geek said, I don't think they could make a movie like Fast Times at Ridgemont High nowadays, sadly. Now there's a lot of movies they couldn't do like that. Fast Times, there's no way. Porky's, which I should say, but one of my absolute favorite all-time movies is watching Porky's. It was cheesy and it was a sexcapade. It's incredibly funny though. Porky's, Blazing Saddles, Animal House. Animal House. I lived Animal House during my college years. I lived exactly what happened. Well, not exactly, but close. I basically lived the life of Animal House during that. And so whenever I watched that with Bluto and yeah, your grade points .02. Congratulations, you lead the house at all. There's just a lot of things in Animal House that I love. But yeah, they probably wouldn't make that movie either. I'll say it's nice that we're all a little bit more sensitive to offending others and all that, but sometimes we just take ourselves too seriously. Sometimes it's okay to poke fun at each other as long as it's meant with good intentions. The hard part's figuring out whether it's good intentions or it's just to be mean on it. But yeah, there's a lot of shows that would not ever be made again that now y'all got me thinking about them and I want to go back and check a few of them out again. JP is saying 2 greatest banjo players are Steve Martin and Kermit the Frog. You know, my favorite shows is our favorite songs is Rainbow Connection by Kermit. I saw, and I know I'm going off on tangents here. I saw a video on YouTube when Jim Henson passed away. Someone put together a memorial video for Jim Henson of all the Muppets that he ever created. So we're talking all the Sesame Street Muppets, the Muppet Muppets with Fozzie Bear and all of that. They put them all together, the grumpy old men up in the balconies. They put them all together singing the Rainbow Connection. So it's kind of like the old 80s We Are the World or something, except it's all Muppets singing Rainbow Connection in honor of Jim Henson, who created them all. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say that watching some Muppets sing a song may have brought a little bit of a tear to my eye. But yeah, I remember everything about going. I was with a church group when we went and saw the original Muppet movie with Kermit playing the banjo, playing Rainbow Connection. So yeah, I'm right there with you, JP. All right. And Roy Clark with Hee Haw. Hee Haw. I spent way too much time watching Hee Haw as a kid. Uh, Staying with my grandparents. They lived just down the road for a while. And we spent a lot of weekends with them. And Sunday nights, there were there were a few shows. We had to watch the Lawrence Welk show. That's the Lawrence Welk show, Hee Haw. And then as a reward, I guess, for watching those two shows, then we got to transition in and watch Merle Olson, I don't know his name, the Wild Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, all about animals out in the savannah and things like that. And then the Wonderful World of Disney Sunday night. So we had to put up with about 2 hours of Hee Haw and Lawrence Welk in order to get a little Disney at the end of it. But yeah, I spent way too much time watching old Minnie Pearl and Roy Clark and all those folks telling a whole lot of corny jokes. That's probably where I got my whole, before the wife and some of that stuff I did in the Big Brother house was way too many episodes of Hee Haw. I'll point out Hee Haw. How come I go out here and watch on Freevee and some of these services that we've got, these most random channels that show 24 hours of Silver Spoons or 24 hours of Alf or some show from the 80s and think, how in the world do they just show this over and over again? How come we don't have a Hee Haw channel? I'd watch it. My kids would hate it. They'd be cutting off the TV if I watch Hee Haw 24 hours a day, but I would watch it. Yeah, it'd be reminiscing, right? That would be a lot of fun. All right, let's see what else. That sounds like my Sunday nights when I was young. Yeah, Karen, it was you don't have as many choices when I was younger, and we didn't have remote controls. We didn't have cable TVs. You had four main TV stations, and that's only if the rabbit ears, which were coat hanger, basically, only if you turned them the right way. So yeah, it was pretty much watch the news, watch Hee Haw, or watch whatever was on PBS. It could be worse. If it wasn't Hee Haw and Lawrence Welk, it meant we were watching Masterpiece Theater over on PBS. Tom Brown's School Days, some of those shows that maybe not what a kid wants to be watching on a Sunday evening. So yeah, we got that. All right, let's see. We've got we yeah. And I forgot about the end. You didn't have TV all night long. TV off. TV would turn off at 11 o'clock or so. They'd play the national anthem, and then you'd either get the colored bars across the TV for another hour or so before the thing turned off completely, or you get like the little Indian screen on there. It's like the chief from the old Red Book, writing pads and all would show up, and you turn off the TV, just be a little dot in the middle of it. Yeah, old school days. Yeah, we sure did have a remote. You know what? My parents had a remote control, and the remote control's name was Cliff. Cliff, go turn the volume up. Go turn the volume down. Turn the channel. I was the remote control for the house. I still remember. I know we got off a tangent. We were going to talk about reality TV, and here we are. I was so excited the day that we got MTV in our house. They started wiring up our neighborhoods for cable TV. The kids in high school, it's my freshman year of high school, if I remember correctly. So that was like 1980 or so. And it was all about haves or have-nots. Every day, some kid would come to school and say, they got cable in our neighborhood. We've got MTV. It's like, oh man, you're so lucky. We don't have it in our neighborhood yet. The haves and the have-nots. You might as well have been sitting at different lunch tables. The kids with cable were over here. They're all talking about MTV. The rest of us are sitting at the other table on the other side eating dry bologna sandwiches and talking about the last episode of Hee Haw and Lawrence Welk. There was not a lot of comparison between the two. So when they finally came into our house, our neighborhood, to wire up, I immediately wanted cable. My parents said, yeah, sure, we'll get it. After I did a little convincing that it was well worth whatever cost it was. I'm sure it was cheap back then, but it seemed like a lot since we were used to free TV. The only problem was they could only come hook it up during the day, and my parents were both working. So I may have taken a little bit of a vacation from school that day, and I just may have come home and dressed up with what I thought was the way a college student would have dressed up. And I may have just told the installer that I was in college and was just home on a lunch break when he showed up. And he may just have believed me, or he may just have not really cared because he just wanted to get his fee for installing the cable. It doesn't matter because we got cable installed in time for a big The Who was in concert on MTV that Friday night. I had friends over. Suddenly I went from the dried bologna sandwiches talking about hee haw over to the fancy tables talking about Bananarama and the latest crazy videos, Hall and Oates and all this, the stuff, and watching MTV, Martha Quinn, all those guys 24 hours a day. Worse than live feeds watching Big Brother when we first got MTV because you couldn't stop. It's like eating Pringles chips. You just eat one, then the other, and the other. There was always the next video coming on, staying up way too late watching all the videos. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the classic days of MTV. All right. With all that being said, I hadn't planned on talking about that tonight, but what I say about strategies in Big Brother, same as that, be flexible. Just kind of embrace whatever path it takes you to. All right. Misfire saying rabbit ear TVs. All right. For those of you who may not remember, now that you got all the fancy streaming and all that, yeah, back in the day when it was all over the air and over the air programming, you had antennas that stuck up in the back of the TV. If you're fancy, you had a TV antenna that was installed on the roof of the house, and it had a little cable that came down and attached to the back of your TV. And that was living the high life there because you pick up all kinds of stuff. But it never failed for some TVs. The antenna would break off. If it didn't break off, it was two pointing up, and you'd be twisting it this way and that just to try to pick up a little bit of a signal. And sometimes that wouldn't work. One of the antennas would break off. So then you went to the, I think they're rabbit ears when they poked out like that, too, like that. But we had our own version of rabbit ears, which consisted of two wire coat hangers. You undo them, so it's a long strip of metal. You stick the end of that metal in the broken off part of the antenna. And now suddenly you got like a 5-foot length of coat hanger, and you're turning that thing back and forth, doing whatever you can until eventually you'd sometimes pick up a great signal, sometimes a little bit of focus, maybe a little bit of gray hiss and all of that. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? It was enough that we got the channel to start with. Yeah, I feel like one of those old fogies. I had to walk to school in the snow uphill both ways. Yeah, back in the day when we didn't have anything on TV and we only had 4 channels. Such a tough life we live here in this world, right? Yeah, there's a whole lot of people deal with a whole lot more than we do. So, yeah, feeling very, very grateful for everything I've had in life. All right, with that being said, it's 8:01, so we are gonna shut it down. Real quick, a little bit of information. First of all, let me do this first. For those of you who are out here every Monday, next Monday is going to be a little different. Unfortunately, I'm going to be traveling, so I'm not going to be. I didn't have time to talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but I'm going to be traveling, so I am not going to be able to do the show next Monday because I'll actually be sitting on an airplane. I thought I was going to be back in time. It's not going to be the case. So we're not having a show next Monday. We will have it though the following show. And then we're going to talk about who my special guest is going to be the following week. So make sure you come back because I'll spill the beans at that point in time. But yeah, I don't want any of y'all coming out. No, y'all feel free to come out here and visit amongst each other and all that. I don't know if you can do that or not, but no official show next Monday. Consider turning on your notifications, subscribing, turning on the notifications, because even though we don't have a show, who knows? If I get a chance to put something out there, I may try to do something. So be on alert because you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, please consider subscribing for the channel, turning on notification, a little thumbs up would be appreciated. But no show next Monday, but we will be right back the Monday following. All right, guys, with that, I am going to shut it down because we ran a little bit long. So I'll finish you up with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV. It's reality TV season. Traitors wrapping up, Survivor episode 2, Big Brother Canada, The Amazing Race, Deal or No Deal Island, and Big Brother USA going on for auditions. Send in your videos and we'll talk next Monday. All right, guys, or the Monday following. Guys, y'all have a great one. I will talk to y'all again in 2 weeks. Until then, stay safe, have fun. Cheers, my friends. Bye. If I can turn it off. See you later, guys. Y'all have a great one. Bye.